Now, you're watching a podcast with Harris in it, so it's clear that you like things uncut. And if you want to see the whole, extended, uncut version of this episode, head on over to the Cold Cuts Patreon, where on top of this episode, you'll receive access to the whole backlog of Patreon episodes, as well as the Patreon-only Discord server. And let me tell you, I only know that Harris is uncut because I'm in that Discord server. So, why don't you stay a little while? Find something out the government doesn't want you to know. And have a good day.
Yo, let me just say, you guys asked and we answered. We finally got the legendary
Dude, they
Stone
asked.
Toss Comics on the.
Dude,
What's
okay.
going on,
Yo,
man?
you're saying
Wait.
the people asked for. We're here with Toothy BJ, not Stone
This
Toss,
is
but
Toothy
you're
BJ, one of
saying
my
the
favorite
people
web
asked.
comic
I have been
artists, by the way.
hounding this man, I think, since we started the podcast.
It's true.
I don't know, dude. How long have you, not to immediately get into questions, but how long have you been making comics? Because I swear I have been a fan of yours for like way before I made comics.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually don't know when you guys started per se, but I know that like I met your comics through the Justin One retweet. That is magic. That is a magic thing
Oh,
to have.
really?
Dude,
That's
the
funny.
Wang magic touch, bro. It's
Oh,
very
man.
It's a powerful retweet.
It is
It's true.
powerful.
Yes, it's powerful. I think that I kind of started. I mean, it was super cringe. I'm still cringe, no? I'm self-aware about that. But I started thinking, believing 2017.
2017, okay.
2017. It's a good time to get into it,
I want to
say.
say I was like 2020. I started doing Twitter, maybe.
In the middle
I
of
mean,
the
My
I
pandemic.
cat's screaming right now, bro. I know they're
Amazing.
doing something devilish, very devilish.
Don't worry. Your mic is your mic. Sorry, I started speaking Spanish. Your mic is directional, so it doesn't pick up.
Dude, Harris is the fucking newbie, Toothy. We gotta bully him. You've been,
I know,
what has it
bro.
been,
I'm-
one year
Well,
of comics.
I feel like I'm a late bloomer with all this because I feel like a lot of people who are well established in the scene started, I'd say about that time, honestly. Like, I'm surprised to see even some established faces who started as late as like 2020. I know that's when a lot of people were like home. That's when House of Decline said that he started posting his comics, and
Love him
which
too.
is
Actually,
which
love
is
him
crazy.
too.
What's that?
I know. I love House of Decline. I love
Oh,
his
me
comics.
too. Yeah, no, wait, House is like official third member of the podcast. Basically, he's very well loved over here, and even though I do kind of consider House and myself and YOLO, we're kind of all same graduating class. I definitely
No, bro.
was
I have been in the mines, dude, way longer than you. Get the fuck. You're a
way
freshman.
longer.
I earned my sophomore year, bro.
You got to think about it this way, though. It's like generation, you know what I mean? It's like a musical artist that started playing in 81, and then somebody who came out like in the late 80s. They're still all 80s. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel like the era is for us. What, you don't think that we're
Yes.
I feel like we're the same kind of era. I would say Toothy, I kind of like, I don't know timeline wise if this is the same. Actually, I'm completely speaking out of my ass here, but I kind of file you into the same, like, I've just been aware of your comics from long before I was posting, and I kind of think of you and Flork of Cows in that
Oh,
same like time period. He's super funny too. I love Flork.
Super funny.
Dude, I always
Yeah.
considered you with you know what? I think you did a collaboration with them recently, but who's a comic you've done collabs with recently? Name them.
Lovenstein.
Lovenstein, bro. You and Lovenstein are like
Lovenstein's funny too.
so good, bro. So
Yeah.
good.
Yes, he's actually like a whole generation. Like he's like, how long has he been doing it? 10 years, and he's a master. Him, and the other Zach, Extra Fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, he is
They're
fantastic,
amazing.
bro. I
All these
love that guy.
guys.
He's great.
Yeah.
The Camp comics. Come on, I started making Camp comics because he started. Like, there's no
He
denying it.
definitely paved the way for the comics.
They're good.
So, yeah,
They're good.
they're
Dude,
very good.
I gotta say before I forget, do you have, okay, first of all, when you told me you were ESL, and for our equally dumb viewers, that's English as a second language. When you told me that, I was blown away because your shit translates like the humor. Sometimes if someone's like
never
from a
would've guessed.
different like speaking language, like It's not even like messing up spellings of words. It's like there's like the
Uh,
humor doesn't always translate. You know what I
yesterday
mean?
was I posted a comic with 3 typos.
Oh,
Dude, I post
really?
comics with 3 typos still, dude. But
At
it's
3
like the
a.m.
way
3
your
a.m.
shit translates
Classic.
is so good. Like, do you have someone proofread, or are you just doing that? It's all like you.
No, generally, I must say, I'm so sorry for every time I commit a spelling mistake because Reddit makes me know for like 17 comments, oh, this is spelling here, and they get offended for some reason because there's a spelling mistake. But no, I kind of like speak English because of work and because of life. I actually started with video games like many Latin American people can say. Final Fantasy makes people learn English, let's say. Um,
Final
and
Fantasy.
I don't copy proof anything, so that's why there's so many spelling mistakes in so many comics.
Dude, forget
And
You really
you're
wouldn't
too
know.
caught up
You
on the spelling, bro. I'm English one language, and
It's
every
like,
comic I
yeah.
make has a spelling mistake, dude.
Toothy, I was
Mhm.
curious. Well, one question, I was curious how you came up with the name Toothy BJ because it's so punchy. It's one of those that when you hear it, you never forget it. Uh, and I was also curious what your if you have like what's your background in art? Because as we can also see from your beautifully rendered profile picture here, like I understand you to be a very good like painter, like digital painter as well, like in addition to the comics.
Shut up because you're an amazing painter. I love
No.
your oils. No, man, those are amazing. Actually,
Oh,
I
thank you,
really
Harris
like
is
bro.
a
them.
Thank you.
fantastic. I'm
I'm surprised you've
shocked,
seen those actually.
dude. We're
Come on,
both
man.
Harris heads over here,
Those are
bro.
buried.
Harris
Buried.
heads.
Thanks,
Yeah,
bro.
But
Thanks.
I'm
yeah, yeah, I
shocked
like
you're
them.
like, once you get a little bigger, you know, when you're bigger, you can just make an account of like you pooping and it'll get like millions of views. Once
Yeah.
Yeah.
once the general public gets in and sees your art, bro, you're gonna be sad, dog. Your art is very fresh.
Oh, are you
Mhm.
talking to me or BJ?
To you,
You,
Harris.
but
Oh,
BJ
to
too, of
me?
course, of
No,
course.
B. Well, thank
No,
you,
my ass is shit.
but no, dude. I mean, like what you have paint. I'm actually not blowing smoke up your ass. Like the way that you have painted your profile picture here. This is outside of my capabilities. I can't do shading and
No,
shit
come
like
on.
that.
This is something you can do. Ah, it's still loading.
Bro,
There, there.
Let me see.
Please.
it is
Let me share the file.
fantastic.
Oh
Oh,
wait,
this is
what
so
the?
good.
Wait, where the hell did this come from?
All
This
right,
is
yeah, we got the episode artwork.
that's a
We got the
beautiful episode
episode
artwork.
artwork.
Dude, this is
That's
so
so
good. Yeah.
good. Well, dude, see,
Uh
this is how like the mark of an amazing artist to me is like
so good.
you can like you're a lot of your main not main characters, but a lot of your comics are like very simple form guys, but the anatomy and like attention to detail is peak. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's a sign of an artist, and that always lets me know like, oh, they could draw some crazy shit. They're just like doing it simple right here.
I believe that I don't wanna how to say I don't wanna sound pedantic, but actually I try to not draw on the comics.
Really.
Not to draw. I mean to draw as fast as possible because I literally draw them. Sorry, I was talking in past tense. I don't know why. I actually draw them at like 2 in the morning because it's when I have time, Yeah, because
Hmm.
if you have free time at like 9 p.m. after work, whatever, like you will have to go to the gym and you come home like what 11 p.m.
Hmm.
So it's always past like midnight that you start to draw, and kind of don't wanna draw so much, so you wanna do it as simple as possible so you can get the joke across because it's a hobby at the end of the day. Like I'm not getting any money from this, me particularly, right? So I try to exp
Well,
expedite. Can you say that in
Yeah.
English?
Expedite.
Okay,
expedite. Dude, you're
expedite.
pronouncing 6-letter words I wouldn't even be able to
You are
pronounce.
literally you are speaking better English than is mostly spoken on this podcast between the two
100%.
of us. So don't even sweat it.
Well, dude, my
Come
point
on.
still stands because, like, dude, I'm that same mindset. Harris over here, he's a workhorse. He takes hours to make
Mm.
his beautiful pieces. I ship my
Yo,
comics out.
the volume is insane. He's
Dude,
posting all the time.
Harris is
Oh,
crazy with
dude,
that.
dude.
He's crazy.
I wish I was doing more, honestly. I still don't really feel like I'm doing enough. But you know what it makes me think of, Toothy, when you're talking about like trying to expedite the process. Have you seen in the SpongeBob episode where like Squidward is teaching an art class and SpongeBob draws a perfect circle and Squidward is like, "How the hell did you do that?" And SpongeBob's like, "Oh, it's easy. First you draw a head," and he draws like the most like perfectly around, and he's like, then you just erase some of the details and the finer points, and you're just left with a perfect circle. It's like that's what it makes me think of with your drawing. It's like you're able to draw this amazing shit, but
That was the
I
point. It's
understand.
like, even if you're saying you don't spend a lot of time, they're still like great. There's like the
Yeah.
anatomy, they look good. Like, it's
Don't you
Uh,
hate when you have to do a
powerful.
comic and the joke requires 6 panels? Don't you say, "Oh, fuck me"? And it's like, why can't it be 2 panels, right? The boomers have it right, had the right idea. Just 1 panel, be straight to the joke, done.
yeah.
Actually they charge more money than us, so because they were selling to a newspaper, so they really had the right idea.
It's true. I mean, I'm always impressed with like the Far Side, like is just one panel. You know what I mean? And it's super
Mhm.
funny. Like that in itself is like really difficult to do. But
But
do
have you read
you
like the new ones? Like
the new Far Side?
no,
Like the
no,
ones
no,
that you what do you
no,
mean?
no. Grab any newspaper, like physical newspaper,
Oh yeah.
could be whatever, and try to read the cartoon section. It's actually tragic. It's tragic, actually.
Do
Dude,
you
I
think
felt
so?
that way as a kid, bro. Like, fucking, I don't know who is laughing at like Marmaduke and fucking Pearls Before
That's
Swine. Do you guys know that
Dude,
one?
yeah, I remember that
yes.
one.
Like, they're
I mean,
so
dude, I
bad.
feel like I've talked about this a bit on the podcast already, but now like I'm kind of getting a little bit of a glimpse behind the scenes with some of these like newspaper comics and how that operates, and it's like
Mhm.
there's no other creative medium I think in existence that has halted their own development more than like Western comics basically by way of like if you think of like music and movies and TV, like every decade, every era has like experiment like new styles, and there's always like a cool kid on the block who's doing something new and different, and so you'd never confuse one era for another. But in newspapers, it's like the same 150-year-old dude who has been like people who have been running the shit since the jump, and so that's why you have like the Lockhorns and like comics that weren't funny when our parents were children are
Yeah.
still sitting in the newspapers, and it's like I don't know if that will ever change. I don't think it's ever going to change. I think newspapers will just like disappear
Disappear. Yeah,
overnight.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There will be
which
no
is sad.
transition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dude, fuck
Uh,
newspapers.
I
Fuck
mean,
newspapers. What will be
yeah.
cool is when people like us start making magazines and like
Yes.
doing zines and shit. That would be
Well,
cool as
yeah.
hell.
Well, the
But
thing
fuck
is that
newspapers.
like if newspapers decided that they were really going to make like a major overhaul, this isn't a perfect universe, but it will never happen. But if you could open a newspaper and you could see Toothy BJ Comics, Yola Swag Studios, House
Yes.
of Decline, Litterbox Comics, if
Bro,
you could open them up and see those comics instead of the fucking Lockhorns and Family Circus, like you would be like,
bro,
bro,
who is
like.
buying as a kid? See, you're in kid mode right now. No one is buying a newspaper for the funnies. They're
I'll tell
buying
you
it for the
what. I'll
news.
tell you what. I would buy newspapers for the funnies if
But
the
then why
funnies
not
were
do a
good.
magazine?
Because magazine, like, I think just some, I don't know. I think, I mean, there's no real reason to not do a magazine versus a newspaper. But the thing is that, like, there's this weird thing that I think boomers think that young people don't want to own physical media. They're just like, how do I turn phone page? Like, that's what they all think that kids are doing. But in fact, it's like, young people love collecting physical media, magazines, fucking Funko Pops, like all this
Mookie
other
I was
Mars.
about I was
dude.
about to
It's
point out the Funko Pops.
look, like I mean, if I have fucking like Berserk, like people, I love buying things. Like
You know
yeah,
what
to
I've been getting
download.
into collecting?
What's that? Whoa,
What the
wooden ducks.
I have 3 more.
Okay, see, and so like that's my point is that like people like owning things if they're cool and good, but newspapers and the comics in them right now are not cool or good,
Well, you
so
can
they're
use
dead.
as an
It's so
example
defunct
the New
though.
Yorker.
The New Yorker.
Yeah, people like young people actually buy the New Yorker. That's something. That's something odd.
I do the
People buying a
crosswords.
Are they
magazine.
reading it though? Every kid I knew who had a New Yorker subscription in high school and college bought them and then would jack off in his room because he bought a New Yorker. They never fucking
Basically.
opened it. To me, it is such
Basically.
like a pompous. Maybe I'm just a hick though. That could be. I just could be uneducated.
I do.
don't
I
know.
mean,
No,
I
no,
think
that happens.
yes, it definitely happens. I think it's fair to say, but it's because there's nothing interesting in there. I don't know. I think like it's the newspaper industry's fault, honestly. They just decided that their audience was this one generation of people, this specific generation who is now 80 and 90 years old, and there's still money in it, paradoxically. But those people will mostly be deceased in 10 years, so I don't know what that looks like, really. It's
Dude, I'm telling you,
bizarre.
it's us. It's the people taking over
It's
publication.
pretty much our job to do it now.
But dude, wouldn't you agree? Because I know, like boomers and shit aren't like so. They do like physical media, right?
mhm.
My parents who cannot operate the internet and shit, as soon as something happens that's out on Twitter, they see it like on their start
Yeah.
page on their computer or something. Like
Mhm.
the whole concept of a newspaper is just fucking defunct.
It
I had to go
is.
back
It's
to it. I had to
also
make my point.
not even to pull this card, but it's also bad for the environment. I mean, less newspapers is
All
should
right,
be
let's
less
move on.
dead trees. I mean, I'm not necessarily advocating for saving
Toothy,
newspapers.
Harris doesn't believe this. He just posted a woman sexiness list.
No,
on his
I was gonna
website. He's
I
trying
was
to
gonna say
rehabilitate
I
himself.
was gonna say, Zach, I can't believe that you recited off all of the women that in order of who you would have sex with.
Dude,
That was
I
so
can't believe
messed
you were
up.
saying every Palestinian loved the movie Dune because
I did not.
you called them Dune heads. You called them
I did not. No.
the people
I can't
of Dune
believe.
heads. You said.
I can't believe you opened up the Wikipedia page for every ethnic slur and just listed them out
Dude,
one
someone
by
mentioned
one.
that in the Discord, and they were like, "That's a funny bit," and I had to be like, "No, that is an older episode."
That actually did happen.
It's an older
Ladies and
episode.
gentlemen, you got to go back and find that episode. Search through our catalog. But the it's funny that all of the comments on the videos will just be like, actually, viewers at home, leave a comment about Toothy BJ, please. In this frame, which is basically all of the comments are always like, this episode was really cool, but it was really weird when Beetle stared directly into the camera and said that the Armenian genocide never happened or something. And then it's like, and like, because we get so many comments like that, I believe it will actually save us when we do something that is
Oh, dude.
like really
You could go
out of
out and
line.
shoot a guy, and no one would believe it based on the comment section.
People be
dude.
like, I can't believe Beetle shot that guy in cold blood. People be like, I love that meme. Like, that's amazing.
Upvote.
Anyway, but also I still want to know, how did you come up with the name Toothy BJ? Where did that come from?
Actually, like I was just thinking, what what it, my God, what it will be funny. God damn. I remember an experience with an ex-girlfriend, that she wasn't as gifted, giving head, say, hey, to DBJ, let me see if the word exists, and it's not a misinterpretation of a Latin American boy of what pete con diente is in English. So basically, that's how it came to be. Basically. It's
Oh,
nothing
that's
deep.
wait, say it. Can you say it again in Spanish? What is it?
Pete con diente.
Pete con diente.
Patagonia.
Amazing, amazing pronunciation.
Thank you. Well, I got the con diente, which means with teeth.
Yeah.
So I got, yeah, that's pretty good. Dude, it's such a good name. I mean, I remember when you followed me first on Twitter, and I was just like, holy shit, man. I just got the Toothy BJ follow. I fucking love this guy. Like,
No, come on.
your comments are so
It's
funny,
a good
man.
feeling. It's a good feeling.
It is. Yeah.
I actually got really hyped when any of you followed me. It was like, yes, come on. I'm with the new cool kids.
The new cool kid. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, I love your comics, and like, Zach and I, when we're off camera, we spend our fair share of time, which we probably will get into in the Patreon section, talking some shit about webcomics that we don't like. And but we also because we can be haters on other webcomics, it makes me cherish the ones that I do really like a lot closer, because
dude.
because like I do believe there's so many people in the webcomic scene that are doing such funny like such funny shit. And I mean, the people that we mentioned and yourself included, of course. And yeah, and like I agree also with what Zach you were saying is that I do feel in some way, even though I think none of us really have a grasp of what that collective thing is for like web comics. Like, how can we all make money in this together? I do feel like that is coming. You know what I mean? Like,
NFTs, man.
I don't know
NFTs.
about
You gotta
that
get into
either.
that.
Uh, can I ask
My
one of
skin
these?
itches when I hear NFTs.
Oh, it's dude, the NFT shit. I really was trying not to hate on it. Like when it was like cool and everyone was like, "Fuck NFTs, it's bad
Mhm.
for the environment." I was like, "All right, quiet down. Like, what is this actually about? Like, let me actually get to the nitty-gritty." And it only got worse from there. Like, it's
It got
just
fucking
like
worse.
it's so bad. Like, it's all really early on. Actually, one of my friends, she's not involved with it anymore, but she was working for an NFT company.
Is
Zach
this
knows
the
who I'm
She?
talking
guest?
about.
Do you have a treat? Do you deal with women? Oh
A
man,
what?
do you talk with women?
I'm
Was I mistaken? I came to the wrong place.
Gross. Gross, dude.
uh, she was trying to get not get me, but she was sort of like kind of selling me on the
She
idea
was
of
soft pitching them. She was soft pitching.
soft pitching
This is
the
the chick that was
idea.
on. She was a guest on the
Yes,
Twitter.
and
Okay, yeah.
she is an amazing artist, and actually a little behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure she had a very bad fallout with the NFT company that she was drawing art for. So she's no longer involved in the scene. Fast forward, which is
Like
not
everyone.
surprising. But she's a phenomenal like painter. She's a really
Mhm.
good illustrator too. And so she always is doing like freelance artwork. She was trying to get me involved in the NFT thing. And I made this kind of hasty decision at the point at the jump that I was kind of just like, look, I really appreciate I had just started Beetlemouse. I think I had like 10,000 followers on Twitter. And I was like, I really appreciate you reaching out because I know you're watching what I'm doing, but I really don't think I want to get into the NFT thing. It's just a little too dicey, and it's like I honestly was afraid that my audience was going to see I was like getting into it or something like that, and it would completely ruin like any shot at like a career that I was going to have with them. I would completely like have burned all of the good faith, that I had built up with my audience. And so I kind of just very nicely told her thanks, but no thanks. And I look back on that and I'm like, thank the fucking Lord I said no to that bullshit, man. I can't even believe it wasn't her
You-
fault. She was trying to get me a job offer, but like
Mhm.
it was just the NFT crap is just so
Cringe. It's so
horrendous.
cringe, dude.
Yeah,
I don't fault anyone because it's like you're trying to get money.
right.
You're drawing in the internet, which is like zero money by default,
Mm,
and they're gonna get burned in the future. That happens. The problem is in the companies that do this. People that don't understand that it's basically gambling. All crypto is
right.
basically gambling.
Well,
You
dude,
can say whatever you want.
you don't fault the creator for like you're willingly like when Beetle and I do merch, it's like something we like. We stand
True,
behind
yeah.
it. Like I totally fault people with willingly selling shit to their fucking audience. Like that's kind of
Yes.
messed up, I feel like. I'm also dumb, so
No,
No,
it's
no,
true.
no, you're right. I mean, like in the beginning, when people didn't understand anything
oh
and
well,
say,
yeah,
hey,
like Brett, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
people
I
want to
mean,
have a unique ID and they didn't understand it was just an address to a room on the internet. It's not the art actually. Like that,
Right.
it's not copyright. It's anything. It's nothing. It's basically nothing. Do you
Oh
remember
yeah,
the story
people
of?
got dumb with it, like the I
Yeah.
stole your JPEG, and it's like
yeah,
Oh
no.
not
well,
literally.
that was
And the
cringe
fun, dude,
also.
remember when everyone was like, "These are also bad for the environment," and I was like, "Am I Smokey the Bear? I don't give a fuck about that, dude. They're just lame."
No, I really did falsely believe that it could have been at some point a good opportunity for artists to make money because like it's always been the struggle for artists to make money. But
Mhm.
what I learned actually more recently is that I thought, and I think a lot of people falsely believe that it was like basically established by artists and then got co-opted by the crypto tech bros, but or like finance bros. But it actually was created by finance bros, and they were trying to sell artists on joining it. but it was never about the
Dude,
art. It was always about the
never.
money.
Don't you want to
Yeah.
support artists? And then it's like they would pay an artist peanuts to do the fucking
Nothing.
artwork and then
Yeah.
take all the money. It was like,
And it also I've never seen a movement. I'm sure historically there have been art movements probably in the past, maybe in like the Jackson Pollock era, where it all of a sudden became trendy for NFTs to look like complete dog shit. You know what I
Dog shit.
mean? Like you would think in general that most art forms are striving for something that's like new or interesting to look at, and NFTs like right after the fucking Bored Ape shit launched, everyone was like, "Oh, NFTs are supposed to look like complete asshole," and so they started making like uglier. There was some fucking Instagram ads that I was getting even recently as like a few months ago for some like check out my diseased alien NFT line, and I always click those fucking like self promo Instagram ads because it always leads you down some twisted rabbit hole, and so I was like, I gotta see this shit, and it was like the most horrendous, like it just it looked like it was drawn on MS Paint, but also that pieces of it looked like it used like the blur tool on Photoshop, like he like resized certain things. It was
but dude,
so
It's
bad.
fucking disgusting.
even the fucking good ones. Like I got lunch with this guy who I love, but he's like
Mhm.
an older guy. I could see him kind of being into some of this shit, but it's like they were Marvel NFTs, okay? So he
Mhm.
bought
Ooh.
the Amazing Spider-Man #1, and we're at lunch, and he's like, "Check this out," because we were talking about NFTs. He pulls out his phone, and you look through the phone, and it shows the table you're at, like where you're at, really. You know what I'm saying? Like through the
Mhm.
camera.
Yeah,
And then it
Yes,
puts
AR.
the fucking book on the table, and then he's like, "Check it out," and he's flipping the pages and reading it, and I'm like, "You look so stupid right now,"
Yeah.
and I would rather be reading a book instead of holding my phone on an omelet and fucking like what?
What the
Like
hell are
Yeah.
you doing?
do you know how easy it is to go get a book and fucking read
Right.
it?
Just
Like
get a book.
what the
Yeah.
fuck are we doing that we're adding all these extra steps to do shit? It's so stupid, dude.
Yeah. I
I'm
do
heated,
have
baby.
this.
I've had
I'm heated.
half of a beer and I'm going crazy right now.
Yeah, I do have this like weird like premonition that there's going to be like an even deeper split among like humans where like that's literally going to cause like an evolutionary like branch off where you're going to have people that are basically just living as they are like online, but also like I have a job and like and I mow my lawn, or you know what I mean. And then you have like this like finance crypto bro who have just like convinced themselves that like Elon Musk is like a god, and like every like piece of technology that they get is an improvement by humanity, and they're just gonna have their fucking things on like this, and they're just gonna be like completely detached
And
from
5 years later, we'll
society.
say it's a trans allegory. You just described the Matrix.
Oh, is that the
Like-
Matrix? Well, the Matrix, it was happening against their will. That's the most disturbing part,
that's
is that
where that
like
shit
people
ends
are
up, bro.
willingly doing that
Dude, the
shit.
smarter we make these computers, are they not going to be like, especially, me, like, they're going to be like, dude, we're letting Italians tell us what to do. That's fucking disgusting. They're going to team up, bro. There's no way.
Yeah. Terrence McKenna once said that in the future, drugs will be more like computers and computers will be more like drugs. And then he took a giant baseball bat that he dipped in PCP and he shoved it right up his ass.
Is that true?
The first part is true. The second part was
Okay, I was like, dude, you have
Do you
to
know
be
who
like a
Terrence McKenna
big
is?
bottom to do that.
Yeah, I do think that that's kind of true though, is that I think there's like somebody just replied to my comic with the funniest fucking wait, I
Pull
don't
it
know
up on
why
your phone. Pull it up on your phone and show us.
okay, wait, okay, I
This
just
is
sent
way.
it in the chat. I don't know why this image was just really funny, and it doesn't make any sense in response to what I posted, but I really like the blur effect. It's basically Freddy from iCarly. Like looks like he's like exploding or something. But anyway,
You made me remind something. I'm not a conspiracy person guy, conspiracy theory guy. Actually, I'm against most conspiracy theories
fair.
because they're pretty feeble.
Yeah.
But there's a thing that is not a conspiracy actually because it's declassified document, so you can go and read it. No, so we can say it's not a conspiracy anymore. because you mentioned Pollock, Pollock actually was an instrument in the Cold War. Basically, the modern art movement, modern art movement was a way. I'm not discrediting modern art. I actually like it. I'm saying that certain authors out there, certain God damn it, certain painters um, were pawns in the CIA game against the KGB to make Russians look bad and make them second guess themselves. You know, all the things of the Cold War. So they basically bought and bought and bought different artists' paintings until they were super popular, and that confused the Soviets a lot and
Bro.
confused the spies. And one of those is Jackson Pollock. And I think
Really?
Dude,
Jackson
I need
Pollock
to.
is
This is the craziest thing I've ever heard, bro.
Wait, but wait, can you explain what was the point? Why were they doing that? What were
Because
they
if they make a
psyops.
painting and it's like a dog's asshole, and they're like, "This is good,"
Exactly.
wouldn't the Russians be like, "Wait a minute"?
Wait,
Russians
what?
are super conservative.
Like-
Yes. Russian is like the most conservative, super conservative country in general, but super conservative in art. So basically, if you go to Russia, you have maybe the best composers in classical music, maybe the best ballerinas, like that's known. And just go through their literature. It's amazing. Russian literature is maybe the
Dude,
best.
did you already say
Yeah.
music? Because Tchaikovsky.
This is the next
Fucking
book on my
rocks.
reading list, actually, right
There,
here.
you're
Whoa.
dude. See, you're not gonna
Whoa.
read that. I can tell by looking at the cover of that book. You have jacked off to owning that 60.
No, I haven't read. I haven't read it yet.
How long have you owned it?
Well,
17 years.
I just got it with because I just finished reading The Trial by Franz Kafka, and now I'm
Ooh,
reading,
so good.
which is
So
that
good.
was amazing, bro.
I laughed
was
my ass
reading
off.
that.
It's so funny. It's
It
like
is
the
really
best
funny, and
satire.
it's so funny that you say that actually because like I learned this. It was really interesting about Franz Kafka is that first of all I didn't know he was Jewish, but he was Jewish, and at the trial, at the time
I
that
don't like him anymore.
you don't like him, it's done.
I was holding that back. I was
So
holding
funny.
that back. I'm glad you.
Basically at the time that he died, the trial was not finished. It was like left as like a bunch of manuscripts, and he left it to his friend, also Jewish, and left like in his will all of his stuff to this guy Max, his friend, and he was like, all of my unfinished manuscripts are to be burned without reading. And his
Oh my
friend
God.
Max was like, come on. And he read the manuscript and he was like, this is the best book I've ever read. And he decided like he had like a moral dilemma, and then he was like, I'm gonna fucking get this published. So he collected the manuscripts. But the problem is that right at that time, Kafka had died in like 1924, and now the rise of Nazis were going on in Germany. So he had to hide all of these manuscripts in like a Swiss vault until things kind of like died down. And then he like was able to secretly get it published through like a Jewish publisher, something like that over time, but it wasn't widely known until later. Anyway, all this is to say, it's really funny. I was reading The Trial, and meanwhile, my girlfriend has been obsessed with watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. Have you guys ever watched that show?
Yeah.
It
Golden.
is so fucking funny. And I swear when it comes to like TV shows, it's really difficult for me to one, like them, but also for me to actually like laugh out loud, like think they're really funny. And Curb was one that I've seen a couple episodes of, but I never really watched. But dude, it is so fucking funny. It's like I've been like holding my face like almost in
It's the
tears,
best.
like
Dude,
laughing. It's so
the
fucking
fact that
funny.
your mom thinks Larry David existing is like an N-word for Jewish people is so fucking
She
funny.
literally thinks he's a Jewish stereotype,
Dude.
so she refuses to watch anything that he's involved in.
Can you imagine?
Wait.
having a
Jewish stereotypes. I love you in Ghostbusters.
What?
Wait, what?
You, Harris, I love you in Ghostbusters.
Oh,
You're
in
talking about Jewish
Ghostbusters?
stereotypes.
Is that guy?
You look the
You
same.
look like
You look the
Harold
same.
Ramis,
I hear that all the time. But I don't
It's-
actually think that guy is Jewish.
He
Harold
has to
Ramis?
be. Bro,
Yes, he
if
has
we're
to
getting
be.
into Jewish stereotypes, can you imagine having a Jewish relative and they pass away and you get their will and it's a list of their stuff and then next to it how much that you have to pay to get it.
That's so good.
That's amazing. Harris loved that one.
I love
Harris
that.
loved that, bro.
Yeah, Harold Ramis is Jewish, everybody.
What,
Viewers at
dude?
home.
He literally like
I figured,
look
but sometimes
identical.
I'm surprised. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes I think somebody is and they're not. Anyway, as you know, Toothy, but viewers at home, the book, The Trial, is literally about a guy who wakes. Oh yeah, damn that. Wow, he really does look like me in this photo.
Yes,
That's crazy.
it's
Even
uncanny.
that. Sometimes people send me like they're like, "You look like this guy," and I'm like, "I don't look like that fucking guy." This guy, I gotta say, he does look like me.
Well, you definitely look more handsome. Not, I don't think he's not a handsome man, but you definitely look
He's a good
way.
looking
You're a
guy.
very handsome man, Harris. You're a very
Thank you,
handsome man.
but
A hotter
uh,
version.
a hotter version.
Hotter, sorry, I pronounced it wrong.
No, that's why I'm teasing. But in The Trial, it's basically about this guy who wakes up in his like apartment and he walks out into the lobby and there's just two security guards there or like policemen. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And they're like, you're under arrest. Basically, you've been accused of like a crime." And the guy's like, "What the fuck? I didn't do anything. Like, what are they saying that I commit? Like, what crime did I commit?" And the guys are like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, don't yell at us. Like, we're just doing our job. Like, we're just two lowly police officers. Like, we don't know what you did." And the entire duration of the book, no one ever tells him what he's actually been accused of. He's just like, and then like every step of the way, it's like just a bad dream. Like, no one is helping him. He ends up like complaining about those two police officers to one of their higher ups when he's taken to court. And then like he meets them in the hallway and they've both been like stripped down and they're being flogged by the guy. And he's like, "Whoa, you don't have to flog them." And they're like, "But you complained about these guys." And he's like, "No, just like, why are you doing it?" Like it's just like at night, like
Had
everything is
Chernobyl
just
happened at this point?
Chernobyl?
No.
I have no
Well,
idea.
the entire like, and I mean, this was a bigger accusation. What's it when
Yeah.
you have a gripe against something?
Bias.
Not bias. I don't know, but the entire point of like people mocking the Russian leadership is that, and like the reason they say Chernobyl happened is because of this, where it's like you have to answer to higher people, so you just do what you're
Yes.
told, and then
Yes.
sometimes you don't want to bother higher up, so you just do what like.
Yeah, no,
Bureaucracy is a poison.
it's all bureaucracy. And well, funny enough, I just looked it up. Chernobyl happened in 1986. This book wasn't, it was written in 1923, basically. So
Damn,
the whole point about this book and the reason that it's so revered is that all of the bullshit that comes with the bureaucracy that this main character, his name is Kay, deals with every step of the way, it's all complete nonsense and he can never get a straight answer and he never meets the force that has accused him of this crime. It never happens. But it rings true today. It's like when you're trying to fucking renew your license and you call the DMV and they're like, we need to redirect you to this department. And then that department's closed. And then you go in and they're like, "Sir, take a number and wait in line." And then you gotta, you know what I mean? It's like literally
it's
like
wokeness.
this system is designed to be confused. Yes, the system is designed to be woke and confusing and just like hold you back. And it's really stupid. Anyway, this is a little bit of a tangent, but the whole point is just that when I'm reading this and I was watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, I was literally like, I
It is
understood.
Kafkaesque.
Like Curb is so Kafka-esque, and it's so funny that you were saying The Trial's hilarious because it is hilarious, even though it's like depressing, but so is Curb because it's like, and it actually kind of made me realize I've reached this like discovery apex of like Jewish humor, like what that means exactly,
Wait,
because it's like
who wrote the American Psycho? Was he was gay, but I know he was
he was
Jewish.
gay as a Bret Easton Ellis. I don't think he's
Yes.
Jewish.
No.
That doesn't sound like a Jewish name to me. Let's
think
see.
I know, Jolo, tell me, Zach, is he Jewish? You can smell them.
Can you
You're the hound.
smell him out? Let me see.
I actually don't know if he is.
Oh, it does
Because,
not say anything about him being Jewish here.
Whenever I'm in at lunch, at work, and I'm talking with my coworkers, someone comes the thing of, "Hey, what's your favorite comedy movie?" And I say, American Psycho. It's not me trying to be edgy. Like, we are constantly quoting it with my friends and my girlfriend. And the point is, people don't understand that it's and they get angry at me because they watch it. Like it was a bad horror movie. No, it's a satire. It's super
Bro,
funny.
Yeah.
Have
I
you
mean-
read the book?
No, I haven't.
Dude,
I want to.
if that's like actually
You
your favorite
should.
comedy movie, the book is
Mhm.
like I would literally just have to stop because I was laughing so hard. The
Yeah.
shit
Oh my
that
God.
happens in the book is so
Dude,
fucking
th-
funny, dude. Like,
there's a scene in the book. Well, also, it should also be mentioned that the violence in the book, it was toned down for the movie.
yeah,
Like
it's grotesque, bro.
the
It's
actual
grotesque.
like murder scenes in American Psycho is possibly some of the gnarliest shit. There are some things that I can't even really properly repeat on podcast because it's just disgusting, terrible things. But
Yeah.
the scenes that are
The women
just like,
deserved it, though. That's the main point. But
oh, that's interesting. That's what you were saying last episode when you were reading off that weird tier list.
they
The
deserve to be on your tier list. That's yep, I
the
agree.
when but there's one scene in American Psycho which leads into a murder. But before he murders
Mhm.
her, he's on a date with some like one of his like high school sweethearts or some
Yes,
girl,
yes.
and he hasn't seen her in years, and they meet in like a fancy like an upscale restaurant for brunch or something like that. And he's like, I wrote you this like poem, like can you read it out loud? And I don't know if he's high or he's just having like a attack,
A
but he's
panic
just like
attack,
a
yeah.
panic attack, but he's like his leg is like bouncing, he's like shaking and freaking out, and he gives her this like
It's
he
a
gives her
4chan
this
post.
it's and it's literally like
4chan.
it's literally like hard R N word, like the most racist, like terrible thing. And he's telling her like, read it out loud, and everyone is like looking at the table, and she's like, Patrick, I don't get this. Like, why? And it's like he's like freaking out, and it's dude, it's a ridiculous scene. Like some of that shit, and that was translated. And I feel like when we were talking about this book once before, I mentioned this, but like I believe that what's his name? Who's the character, the actor that plays him in the
Christian
movie?
Bale.
Some Christian
Isabel.
Bale. He was so perfect for that role because like
Because he
he
hates women.
yes. And but also he's just like he just played the comedy element of it like so
Well,
perfectly.
I
Like he
think I've
didn't lose the
mentioned this.
comedy.
I think I've mentioned this on the pod before, but he met with the director when she was picking the main role, and
Mhm.
she was asking, "What do you think of the movie?" "Oh, it's disgusting. He kills women." Another guy, "Oh, it's horrific. Women, we should never hurt women. They don't deserve it ever. There's nothing women could do that make them deserve to be killed."
Is it
And
gonna end
then,
with Sean Connery?
yeah, dude, yes, the Sean Connery movie. But then she met with Christian Bale, and she said, "What do you think about the movie?" And he said, "It's hilarious." And she
Oh,
said,
that's
Ah,
funny.
nice.
"Hire this man," and
Yes,
that's how he got the
Yeah.
part.
he's
I can't
perfect. I
remember.
mean, yeah, he played it perfectly. And I was watching, I think it was actually fairly recent that there was like one of those GQ interviews with the actor, and so they had an interview with Christian Bale talking about some of his like iconic roles, one of them being Patrick Bateman. And he says that after he filmed that movie and it got really popular or it was released in theaters, that he was in the future like researching, doing some like method acting research for another role, and he happened to be perusing like a finance building or something like that to I don't know to like just understand better the inner
Mhm.
mechanism. And all these finance dudes, these Wall Street guys, saw him and they were like, dude. Patrick Bateman, man. I love Patrick Bateman. Like he's literally me, man. And like and Christian Bale was saying in this GQ interview that he was horrified about that because he was like, I'm shocked and horrified that people are like he's literally me because he's like a horrific, horrible human. But when I was watching that interview,
And
I
not
was
only
feeling
horrific, but pathetic. He's a pathetic human.
pathetic. Yeah, he's like literally pathetic, disgraceful human.
He's kind of
But
cool.
I do think that I think that what Christian Bale may be like missing, or maybe he's playing it down or being humble, is like I think part of the reason that people like love Patrick Bateman, because I love Patrick Bateman, is because he's funny. Like it's like, and Christian Bale is a huge
For
reason
me,
for
it's
that.
because
And
it's
he's
Christian
very
Bale.
well, it's
I
also
love
yeah,
Because
Christian
he's
Bale.
hot.
he's just charming. He's charming and he's funny, and then he's also a horrible, pathetic like human. But the reason people love the character, there's a lot of horrible, pathetic characters in movies, but people love. I think part of it is because he's so funny. And
Well,
like
Wall
that's
Street people are sick, bro, because Leonardo DiCaprio said for Wolf of Wall Street, they showed a preview of it to Wall Street guys. They brought all the Wall Street guys in, they filled the theater, private showing. And have you guys both seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall
Okay,
Street.
there's
Yeah.
that one scene where like his marriage is falling apart, and he takes a knife and opens up the couch to get coke or something, like
Yeah.
mid divorce with his wife, and just starts doing coke. And apparently, the entire theater was like standing ovation, like yes, and it's like
Yeah.
these people are
He's
sick,
literally
bro.
me.
These people are sick, dude.
Oh my God, man.
They're
Yeah,
based, but they're sick. They're sick.
it's funny. I've talked to I feel like every once in a while I will see people talking about this on Twitter, but I've also heard people say this in real life, and I had to bite my tongue because I was like, I really don't want to be this fucking the red pill guy at the fucking event. But like I hate people talking about seeing Wolf of Wall Street or American Psycho and being like, why do guys love that movie? It's just men being horrible. There's been enough like discourse about that I feel like there's people that actually feel that way, and it's like
Like media literacy much? Like, come on. Do
seriously
you
though,
not do you not
it's
understand the pictures
Don't bring that word up with Harris. There were some issues with Dune 2. There were some
Literally
issues
Vietnam
with Dune 2.
flashback.
Don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything, please.
Oh, you didn't see it yet?
It's
No,
so good.
I'm
It's so
like
good.
in
Bro.
2 days. 2 days.
We didn't like Did you like the first one? Because both of us thought it was kind of boring.
I actually like it yet.
Okay, then you're gonna
Okay,
fucking
they're
love
gonna
Dune
love the
2.
second one. I mean, the first one or the second one retroactively
Improves the
like
first one.
boosted my opinion of the first movie, and it's because like
I'm
I don't
3/4
know.
into the book, and that makes sense because the second half of the book is like I didn't finish it yet, and so I didn't reach the movie launch. I wanted to get up to date to the movie launch, but the first half of the book is like super slow because it's the presentation of the characters, and it's what they are doing in the first movie.
And that's what I think
I like it
the
anyway.
problem we had with the movie.
It's presentation,
Yeah,
presentation. Like you never
Setting up,
see the
setting up. Yeah.
Yeah, you never
definitely.
see the knight fight the other guy, basically. And you're saying, hey,
Right.
man, I want to see them fight. And he just disappears mid-fight, and you don't see them the rest of the movie. What happened with his storyline? So it's more like I imagine I like it because I assume it is a part of something bigger. And I'm going to see a sequel, and it's going to close up in some way. Basically.
I don't want to stop this discussion because this is amazing, but I think we got to move on to the Patreon episode.
Oh, we're on the
Oh.
Patreon so now we can pull up the tier list
We should
again.
before we pull up the tier list, we should thank the patrons though.
Oh, let me thank the patrons before. Okay, so I should say, for our YouTube viewers, of course, thank you, Toothy, for coming on. We're going to continue this conversation.
The remaining YouTube viewers after the Vosh incident we've been bleeding.
Permanently destroyed us. Let me see here. We if you would like to, whoa, what's going on? Oh, if you would like to see the rest of the episode, we're going to talk some shit. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. We'd love to see you over there. You get access to this one and like 100 more episodes if you want to join the Patreon. That is patreon.com/coldcuts. Yeah, we'd love to see you over there. And these are, our executives. Thank you guys so much. This is Bugs on My Wee Wee, Big Tasty, Brat Brat Pew Pew,
Don't forget
Conga
the one
Heli.
that you can't name.
I don't see him here.
Okay.
Oh, we should have gone over this before, but I think I know who it is.
Okay, good.
Okay, starting from the top. Bugs on My Wee Wee, Big Tasty, Brat Brat Pew Pew, Conga Heli, Francho, G-Zan, HP, Kellen McSmellin, Limp Dick. I believe this is Dilbert Text, right?
Let us know if we're wrong.
I think this is it. Maze Corn, Protista, Protagon, Shrek the Third, Shalom Guy, and Trevor Stilson.
Damn.
Thank
The
you
execs
guys.
are going crazy.
Execs are going crazy right now. We'd love to have you guys over there.
Yo, let me
By the
do the
way-
John Hamm pitch. You gave a pretty good pitch for the Patreon. Let me do the John Hamm pitch.
Okay.
$5. $5. That's it, baby.
That's it. That's
baby.
true.
Look,
$5. You get early access to Beetle Comics, early access to YOLO Comics, and literally 100+ episodes of Patreon exclusive where we get into all kinds of crazy shit. Zach says the way he really feels about Armenians on several episodes. I keep telling him to
I'll say it on the
stop,
YouTube episode.
but if you want to hear that, it's on there. And then, oh, and somebody just changed, somebody whose username is Weasel. I just drew a comic that had featured a weasel, and he just changed his profile picture to the weasel I see in the thing. Oh, which, speaking of which, we have the Discord channel, which is super based, and we have a ton of people in there too, and it's
They've
like
been
the most
bad
active group
recently.
chat.
They've been bad.
They're always
recently.
being bad.
Yeah.
They're always being bad, and I'm just gonna let it go because you know what? I'm like, you know how it's like usually in a parental situation, you have like, you know, your mom is nice and your dad is the disciplinarian, or like vice versa, like your dad is chill but your mom's a
My mom was the
disciplinarian.
disciplinarian, bro.
Yeah, I think my dad was the disciplinarian, but
Bro, my mom was beating my ass, dude.
really destroying you. Here's the thing. Zach and I, neither of us are disciplinarians. So it just gets a little rambunctious in there from time to time. We both are just like, you know, we're like the hippie parents that are just like, oh, we asked
Yeah.
our newborn what he wanted his name to be, and
Leave.
he
Yeah,
said
tantrum kids, basically.
It's the
Yeah.
last Wild West part of the internet. Okay,
I would
it's
say
crazy.
it's as close as you're gonna get to that. Anyway, let's get into the Patreon section starting right
Wait,
now.
before you go,
Oh, yeah.
Harris, can you please stop DMing me? Because I'm not gonna say this. Like, you keep DMing me mid-show, saying me,
Say
hey, it
the
will
word.
be funny. Say the
Say
M-word. It
the
will be
word.
funny. It will be funny. The M-word will be funny.
I
mean,
know, dude.
it's like
I know.
30 texts.
What you've just seen is only the beginning of this amazing Cold Cuts podcast episode.